There is a world of difference between a player who talks a bit of trash and a once-in-a-generation superstar who truly embraces being the league's ultimate predator. For a long time, the WNBA hierarchy has tried hard to fine, discipline, and force Caitlin Clark to fall in line. They honestly thought that hit her with technical fouls, turning ordinary screens into flagrant violations, and fostering a critical media environment would make her apologize, stay humble, and quietly show respect to the league's veterans. Yet, during the post-game press conference right after she completely took apart the Golden State Valkyries, Clark stared straight into the cameras and sent a chilling, unmistakable warning to everyone else in the league. She will not apologize, she will not back down, and she is perfectly fine with paying whatever fine comes her way. Welcome back to WNBA Pro. Today, we are opening the floodgates to break down the most fearless, uncompromising press conference of Caitlin Clark's young professional career. We are mapping out the intense, cinematic reality of her psychological mind games on the court alongside the cold, hard facts from the press room that prove she has completely outmatched the WNBA's old guard. If you assumed the friction with Tiffany and the Valkyries would force Clark to retreat and hide away, you need to completely rethink things. We are going to break down exactly how Clark answered the questions about her trash-talking, how she totally discredited the media's fabricated statistics about her defense, and we will reveal a truly shocking admission from head coach Stephanie White that shows this coaching staff is still stumbling in the dark. Let us set the stage and look closely at the masterful display of poise and defiance that Clark just gave the mainstream media.
Oh, no way. Oh, it just makes sense for the refs tonight, so I'm not surprised. Wow, I could have got ejected. I should have been a little safer in the second half. Okay, well, guess I have some fines coming my way. And a flagrant. Wow. Well, the refs were interesting, but I'm not going to say anything else because obviously I got probably $1,000 worth of fines coming my way, but I was just trying to get the rebound and I didn't know I got a technical foul, but thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it.
The media session kicked off with a reporter questioning Clark about her highly physical, intense dust-up with Janelle Salon that led to a technical foul. Clark's reply was a perfect example of supreme, unbothered confidence. Remarkably, she had no idea the officials had even penalized her. She looked at the reporter with genuine shock and asked if she had been given a technical, saying there was no way that happened. She immediately followed that up by completely dismissing the WNBA refereeing crew, smiling as she noted that it simply fit the style of the refs that evening, so she wasn't shocked. She did not offer a practiced, corporate PR apology, nor did she express any regret. She openly acknowledged that the league office was targeting her wallet, casually mentioning that she probably had a $1,000 fine headed her way. When a 24-year-old franchise point guard is openly laughing at your penalty system and shrugging off major fouls in a post-game press conference, you have completely lost the mental battle. The monetary fines do not faze her at all. The technical fouls mean absolutely nothing to her. She is simply playing on an entirely different financial and cultural level. And when she was asked about those intense trash-talking exchanges, the exact moments where she hit a 35-foot shot from the logo over Tiffany and challenged her to defend better, Clark completely backed up that aggressive competitive energy.
Yeah, I think that's just being a competitor. And, that's what's fun. That's what I love about it. And, I think that's what gets the crowd into it, too, and gets my teammates hyped up. And I think there's times I can probably find a little bit better of a balance because, doing all that is a little bit exhausting, too. But I just love the game. I love being out there, and I love those moments and getting the crowd hype. And
rather than hiding from the villain role, she stepped right into it. Clark directly stated that she views it as simply being a competitor, noting that it makes the game fun and is exactly what she loves about playing. She highlighted a clear reality that the WNBA establishment refuses to acknowledge. This raw, high-energy emotion is precisely what keeps the massive crowds deeply involved, and it is exactly what gets her teammates fired up. She admitted that it takes a lot out of her, but she made it perfectly clear that she thrives in those moments. She is genuinely drawing energy from the hostile environment. The league executives might want a quiet, polite basketball environment, but Caitlin Clark understands that the paying fans want to see absolute, unfiltered competitive battles. However, Clark did not just use this media session to talk about the emotional storylines. She also used it to completely tear apart the mainstream media's invented metrics regarding her defensive play.
Yeah, I think Steph's really challenged me on the defensive end, and, I think there's probably definitely a narrative of me not being a great defender, but I can guard. I'm long, I know angles, and, I can get my hands out, I can be.
For more than a year, commentators and veteran players have tried to spread the false narrative that Clark is a weak link on the defensive side of the ball. During the matchup, the Valkyries repeatedly tried to exploit her, running isolation sets at the top of the key to challenge her one-on-one. Clark looked right at the gathered reporters and shut down that talking point completely. She stated that while there is definitely a widespread narrative that she is not a strong defender, she can actually guard well because she has good length, understands angles, and can disrupt plays with her hands. She then shared a massive, undeniable truth about her workload on the court. She accurately pointed out that opposing teams look to isolate her on defense mainly to wear her out, because she already has to bring the ball up all 94 feet against full court pressure on every single offensive trip. Yet, even with that fatigue, she dug in, guarded her space, and forced the Valkyries' guards into heavily contested, difficult mid-range two-pointers. She completely erased the mismatch they believed they could exploit. And while Clark was shutting things down on the perimeter, Aaliyah Boston was busy dominating the Valkyries inside the key.
Position, getting down low, trying to roll out hard, and then guards taking great expected shots, and I was just right there to rebound. Thank you.
Boston grabbed an incredible 16 rebounds during the game. In the post-game press room, Boston gave credit to her excellent positioning and her guards for taking smart shots. Still, the chemistry between Clark and Boston is clearly growing into a terrifying, championship-level force. When Clark is drawing defensive attention and double teams 30 feet from the basket while Boston is physically overpowering power forwards down low, the Indiana Fever offense becomes almost impossible to stop. Even so, we cannot look past a glaring mistake that was brought to light on that very same microphone. While the players are performing at an incredibly high level, the coaching staff seems completely disconnected from the reality of the game.
Just said she didn't know she got the tech at halftime and said she could have gotten ejected, and I guess she said.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Were you worried at all that she would have been ejected?
I didn't know that she got a technical either. So, I guess they announced it, but nobody told us. So, I thought the officials would have told us, but.
Group to close the third quarter.
Later in the press conference, a reporter pointed a question toward head coach Tiffany White, mentioning that Clark was completely unaware she had been hit with a technical foul by halftime. Tiffany White then offered a confession that ought to deeply worry the Indiana Fever front office. White looked at the reporters and admitted that she didn't know about the technical foul either. She explained that nobody informed the staff, and she had assumed the game officials would have let them know. Think about the sheer, undeniable breakdown in awareness that this statement reveals. The head coach of the Indiana Fever, backed by a bench packed with well-paid assistant coaches whose sole responsibility is to track the game, had no clue that her cornerstone player was just one technical foul away from being thrown out of the game. She was entirely unaware that her primary playmaker carried a flagrant and a technical in a tight, highly emotional contest. That is not just a small mistake. It represents a complete and total breakdown in baseline communication. If Clark had been thrown out in the fourth quarter because White failed to manage the situation, it would have been a catastrophic coaching error. The players are pulling out victories despite what is happening on the sideline, not because of it. The WNBA's old guard has officially run out of options. They attempted to shake Caitlin Clark with physical play, and she answered by burying 30-foot shots and mocking their financial penalties. They tried to isolate her on defense, and she shut them down. The competitive fire is officially lit, and the rest of the league has no answers left. This is WNBA Pro. Click that subscribe button right now if you want the honest, high-energy analysis that tears down the media's fake narratives and uncovers the real truths from these press conferences. Share your most unfiltered thoughts in the comments section below. Is Caitlin Clark officially the most intimidating competitor in the entire WNBA? And how bad is it that Tiffany White didn't even realize her star player had a technical foul? I want to see every single honest basketball takedown in the comments. Ring the notification bell because the fines are mounting, the Fever are racking up wins, and we are tracking every single bit of the fallout. We will catch you in the next video.